I'm just going to do a part three to this and hopefully keep it short. Okay. So Cameron tells us he's doing a forensic deep dive. As part of his comments in this video. Okay. So if you looked at my part two, you've seen this comment on his video. Sunizo puts a valid comment saying you can't just remove lapped cars between P1 and P2 and deny everybody else. Totally valid. Nails the reason why it's fraudulent. You can't just separate out two competitors in a multi-competitor event and let them race off for the win. That in itself will win any court case. There is no justification for that. Okay? There's no interpretation of the rules that enables that. Absolutely. Simple. Okay? Nails it. Anyway, Cameron F1 responds to that. Despite your assumptions, there is no deliberate legitimising Max as champ, and although he's not a bad driver, it must be said. Okay, no spin, sir. Just a forensic deep dive on the multiple causes of Abu Dhabi. The multiple causes of Abu Dhabi, right? You can't say the cause of Abu Dhabi, okay, which was the race director breaking the rules of the sport to knowingly set it up for one driver to win that race. Because that's what happened, okay? The race director knows the rules of the sport. He's demonstrated, we can evidence he knows the rules of the sport through his conduct, okay? I've evidenced that. So he knows what he's doing. He knows the implications of what he's doing, which we can demonstrate through his conduct, which we can evidence, which I have on this channel, right? Because that's called a deep dive and forensic analysis of what Matty knows and what he's demonstrated he knows and why he knows it, okay? So you cannot say that a deep dive on the multiple causes of Abu Dhabi, right? And you can't say that the reason why the race director broke the rules of the sport to set it up, right, to set up a two-car race-off over one lap in the knowledge that one car was a huge favourite to emerge victorious over that one lap due to the condition of those cars. We all knew that with a car on 44 lap old hard tyres would be massively disadvantaged compared to a car on fresh soft tyres. Everybody knew that. We were told that. Anybody that's watched the sport knows that. If you're going out and doing your qualifying run to try and set a pole position time, you don't try that on 44 lap old hard tyres because you're going to be at least 2 seconds a lap slower than what you'd be capable of on a fresh set of softs. We know that. We know what goes on in Formula 1. We all know that. Okay? The race director knows that. And yet, he broke the rules to set that situation up. That is purposefully fixing the outcome of that event. That is the clear facts of the matter. Clear facts. Don't present, Cameron, that you are doing a forensic deep dive of the multiple causes of that. The multiple causes of what Massey did, okay? They do not include the fact that, or I say a fact, that your opinion, okay, your opinion that over the course of the season, Perez was a better teammate to Max than Valtteri was to Lewis, okay? That's subjective. You can have arguments about it, you can evidence it, argue in data, okay? That forms no part of the of exposing what took place in fixing that event. It's not a relevant factor. It's not a valid reason. Okay, don't try and present to people that forms part of your forensic deep dive into the aspects of this. It doesn't. Neither does your point number 4, Horner's Red Bull, and the fact that their strategy calls were better, or the fact that they managed to coerce the race director throughout the season to favour themselves. Okay? That does not justify in any way Massey breaking the rules of the sport, knowing what he was going to produce by doing so, fixing the outcome of the race. Don't present, Cameron, that what you're trying to do is a forensic deep dive of the multiple causes, because that is not one of the multiple causes. What might be a cause of it is, yes, Red Bull are able to manipulate the race director, but there's 10 people at least in race control. 10 people there. That's the FIA. They're all there in race control. Are Red Bull able to manipulate all 10? Well, clearly they are. What's the link? Don't try and present this as it just being Jonathan Wheatley's made friends with Michael Massey, and Michael Massey will do whatever Jonathan Wheatley says. Because it's not just that, is it? That's part of the reason, okay? But it's not a reason we should excuse it. It's part of exposing the dynamics of all of this. But you don't make that clear, do you? You really don't make that clear. That's not a forensic analysis, is it, Cameron? It's not really a deep dive, is it, Cameron? You then go on to say Mercedes made mistakes. Mercedes making mistakes throughout the course of the season is a valid reason, supposedly, why Michael Massey broke the rules of the sport to set up an illegal one-lap shootout that he knew Max Verstappen was going to beat Lewis Hamilton on that one lap with. That is not a valid reason. It doesn't form any part of the reason for that fix. Don't present that that's the case. Don't do it, but you do. You then present the FIA saying, your words were, the support team around the race director, okay, were a bit flaky. Well, what's that all about? There's 10 people in race control. It's highly likely that of those 10 people in race control, we can trace back who has been in that race control office for however many seasons, and we can determine their level of experience. What I do know is somebody that was in race control in about 2012, and which you can evidence, or 2012, 2013, is in race control in 2019, 2020, because that same face appears on the footage that we're shown. Now, we're not shown much about Abu Dhabi, so we don't know who them faces are, but it's still going to be 10 people in race control. It's still highly likely that of them 10 people, quite a few of them have been doing that job for years. They know the rules of the sport. They know the implications of them rules. They're all in race control. What's the problem there? That's called corruption if they're all in on this, and clearly they are, because they did nothing about it. They allowed it to happen, and nobody said anything about it since, and the FIA themselves have just enabled it, and they've just gone, yeah, we're happy with that. It's good. The result stays as it is. You don't do that when something goes wrong. And if something unprecedented happens, you set the precedent. You go, well, this was wrong. We can't allow that. This is why it was wrong. It's clearly changed the outcome of this, and this cannot stand, and this is the reason you can't. And they didn't do that. They did not do that. There's a reason they didn't do that, because it's systematic. They're being paid to be corrupt. Okay? They are controlled. The FIA are carrying out the agenda. Okay? That could be people within the FIA, their agenda. It's highly likely that it's going to be the agenda of Liberty Media. Okay? Liberty Media, whose CEO used to be CFO of Oracle, chief sponsors of Red Bull, the beneficiaries. See how these links work? See how these links work? Okay? But you're not exposing that, are you, Cameron? You're not doing your forensic analysis, your deep dive. Okay? Don't present that that's what you're doing, because you're not doing that. Okay? You're not doing anything of the sort. And then you go on, and what do you say about, you then present the FIA as being one of the reasons not to blame Massey, and you go on to say, but the rules, they're too complicated. Right, you say that you're doing a forensic deep dive, and then say one of the reasons is the rules are too complicated. Do you think, right, I've done my review, I've done my analysis of the situation, and my findings are it's all a bit complicated. Really? Is that your scientific approach, is it, Cameron? Right? Yeah, I've done all that. I've done my study of this. Okay, I've gone through everything. I've gone through all the evidence. I've gone through all the paperwork. I've done a forensic deep dive of it, and my conclusion is, yeah, it's just a bit complicated. Thanks for that, Cameron. Fucking thanks for that. Is that the best you can do? Yeah, because I've done a forensic deep dive. Because I'm the Formula One expert. Look, you're nothing of the sort. You're presenting yourself as that, right? You're presenting yourself as somebody with knowledge. You're telling people that you're doing a forensic deep dive, right? And they're the conclusions that you're able to draw. But then you say, but I'm letting people draw their own conclusions. Yeah, by giving us heuristic, well, whatever you want to use. I don't even like using the word. Okay, I did find out the meaning of that, and I showed you what the meaning was in the previous video. All right, you're not doing any of that, are you, Cameron? Okay, you're just validating. And then he goes on to say, well, number one problem is Liberty Media. They wanted to make a big show of it all. Okay, and again, you are not pointing out that somebody having a controlling influence over a sport, okay, and setting something up in a sport to have a manufactured finish to it, to create drama for a spectacle, is manipulation of a sport, which constitutes fixing that sport, and you are not explaining that that constitutes a fraud. Because when you have global professional sport, people bet on the outcomes. And if them outcomes are predetermined because they've been fixed, because they've been manipulated by a controlling influence of that sport, setting up an ending to that sport, that's not authentic sport. That's manipulation. That is fraud. That is race fixing. That's match fixing. That's whatever type of fixing you want. That's what it is. It's a crime. That is what your forensic analysis needs to conclude, Cameron, and you don't do that. You don't do that. Now, I gave an example which I wanted to follow up on about the Football World Cup, right? Whereby we get this World Cup final, England versus Argentina, right? And England are fouled on the halfway line. An England player is fouled on the halfway line and the referee awards England a penalty, okay? Which is categorically wrong. It should never happen, okay? Imagine this happening. Imagine this happening, okay? They don't show you a replay of where that foul took place. Instead, they show you a replay of a different part of the match where somebody was pushed in the penalty box. Not the same incident whatsoever, but they show somebody being pushed in the penalty box. That's the only replay they say of somebody being pushed in the penalty box. But it's not the foul that the penalty was awarded for, right? Let's then cut to the referee holding his earpiece, determining whether the VAR are doing their checks. We're just checking if the VAR are going to overrule the penalty. Oh no, VAR aren't going to overrule that. No, it's going to be a penalty. That's fine. What if then? So this is what you're seeing on the TV. This is what the people responsible for showing you what took place and for showing you again what took place, but they're not doing that, are they? They're hiding that from you, okay? And then, whilst that's going on, the commentators saying, yeah, that definitely looked a penalty to me. Yeah, definitely looked at that. That was a dodge. That was an atrocious challenge. That's a sort of a challenge that the players should be sent off for. You know, the rules of the sport allow the referee to give a penalty in them situations. Okay, if you've got the commentators commentating on the match saying that, which we know is a lie. Okay, we know is a lie. But nobody calls that out. Nobody exposes what them commentators are saying. That's part of your forensic deep dive. What are they showing us? Are they showing us that foul's on the halfway line and he's given a penalty for it? No. Did they show us the clear-up operation in Abu Dhabi? That the fact is, it wasn't going to be possible to release them cars before the end of lap 56. And the earliest they could do it for the last lap car to get past the leader was going to be on lap 57, which meant lap 58 was going to be a safety car lap, which meant it's going to be a safety car finish. Simple. They didn't show us that. They kept cutting from here to there and the pits and the replays of the crash, but not the key bit of information, which was how long is this thing taking to clear up? They didn't show us that. We got glimpses, and then it was like a fleeting glimpse on lap 56 as the cars were going by that incident. And I paused it at the moment in time when you see that last marshal jumping over the barriers. Okay? And you couldn't unlap the lap cars before then. Don't argue with me on that. You can't. You can argue whether you want, or whether you like or whether you don't. The fact is, he didn't release them cars. That's the fact. That's the fact. And having not released them, so whether you think he was right or wrong, he didn't. And the fact is, because he didn't, right, the earliest it was on lap 57, which guarantees lap 58 as a safety car lap. That's the outcome. Who said that? Nobody's analysing that. Nobody's exposing that in the forensic deep dive, right? The commentators of this football match, the World Cup final, are justifying the referee giving that penalty. Okay? They're justifying that. When England score it, they're all going crazy. They're all going crazy, right? They're going, oh, yes, England are the World Cup champions. They fully deserved it because each of them games that they played in this tournament, they led them games for more minutes than every other team. They scored the most goals in this tournament. They conceded the fewest goals in this tournament. They fully deserved it. Okay? No, you have just witnessed cheating. You've just witnessed the referee gifting that game to England. And nobody is calling it out. Nobody's saying, this is corrupt. They've just fixed that. Instead, they're validating it. They're saying, oh, but after it, they say, oh, but no, the teams had a word between them before the game that if we're going into the last minute, the referee should just give a penalty to one team or the other because we want to see this game settled in normal time. We don't want to have extra time and penalties. So, that's what they did, right? They're presenting that. They're saying that to the world as if that's a valid reason. Because that's not valid. Even if the two teams did have a chat like that, which they wouldn't, but even if they did, that's not allowed. You're not allowed to break the rules of the sport to do that. You're not allowed to do it. You can't do that. So anybody presenting that as being a valid reason for doing it, it's not a valid reason. Okay? And yet this is what we're hearing all the time. Or the other one we're getting is, when it comes to Formula One, we're hearing, oh, but Alonso and Vettel knew that the lapped cars had to be released in order to go racing again, right? So that's what they said. They were saying on this lap that the Massey had to release the lapped cars. It's the same as saying, oh, when the England player got fouled on the halfway line, the other England players were going up to the referee and saying, ref, that's a penalty, that's a penalty. See, the England players, they knew that it was a penalty, so that's a valid reason why it's a penalty, isn't it? Can't you see the bullshit? Can't you see the bullshit reasons? Bullshit validations, right? It's all lies. None of it is authentic. None of it's valid. Okay? And then afterwards, the whole appeal process, it's all lies. None of it's valid. Right? All of it. Every bit of information you've been fed is lies, and it then cements the lies and validates the lies, and everything that they present is just irrelevant. It doesn't focus on the crux of the matter, and the crux of the matter is the referee broke the rules of the sport and gifted the championship to one team, to one player, knowingly doing so, knowing what he was doing, knowing the outcome that it was likely to produce, and he went ahead and did it, and the media presenting it just went, oh yeah, he's within his rights to do so. And actually, England were fully deserved in becoming that, because they fully deserved it, didn't it? They had the good tournament. They did well in their first round match. They won their first game 6-0. So that justifies the referee breaking the rules for them to win in the end and deny the other ones. Argentina. Okay? Oh, England were denied a penalty in the second game. So this game justifies them being gifted the win by the referee breaking the rules to give them the win. None of these things are valid. None of them. But this is what the media has been flooded with to cause arguments, to cause the conflict, to muddy the waters, to make people argue about irrelevant bullshit, to take attention away from the crux of the problem. Focus on the crux of the problem. Ignore the noise. The crux of the problem. Massey broke the rules of the sport to knowingly gift the championship to a single competitor. Every other argument is irrelevant. Everything else that, but what if? Irrelevant. What did happen? They're the facts. What did happen? What happened? Focus on what happened. The ifs, the buts, the maybes are bullshit. Okay? The justifications, the fully deserved, but this happened. But that, yes, but on the balance of things, over the course of the season, you're getting the bullshit comments going, Lewis did get cheated out of that race, but over the balance of the season, Max fully shut up. Over the course of the season, they went into that event level on points, which means they both got the same number of points. Lewis Hamilton was on course to that, would have won it had he not been cheated. He got defrauded. He was fraudulently cheated. Nothing validates that. Oh, there was a dodgy decision earlier in the season, so that validates the referee being fraudulent and gifting it to Max at the end. No, that's a fix. Every step of the way along in the season, you deal with the issue there and then. You've got a problem with it. If Red Bull had got a problem with Bahrain, they submit an appeal at the end of Bahrain and ask the stewards to review if their appeal is valid. Go and see if that's what they did. Go and tell me what the result of that appeal is. Every other incident that you think validates Max Verstappen over the course of that season, go and see what Red Bull did about it. Go and see what the stewards said about it. And see if Red Bull protested and if the stewards decided whether Red Bull were right or not. And I will show you for every single incident that you want to pull out a far worse one where Lewis Hamilton was disadvantaged. But you know what? They play no part in the determination of whether or not the race director fixed Abu Dhabi or not. Because the clear fact is he broke the rules of the sport to fix the outcome. Prior to him doing so, what you were presented with in terms of TV footage was not a clear picture of the state of play, was not a clear picture of what was going on track at turn 14, so you could not determine for yourself the likelihood of a racing resumption. Instead of that, what you heard was the commentators hyping shit up. They were saying to you, are we going to see this exciting finish? Are we going to see this championship decided with a one-lap shootout? They don't have to release the lapped cars. I'm not sure that's mandatory within those. They're lying about the rules of the sport to take you down a road with your thought process. Okay, they're taking you down the road, convincing you of a narrative, and then when that change, they then take you down the road of Max Verstappen feeling hard done by these lapped cars being left in situ, and Red Bull being hard done by it. They do that with what they show you and what they interject with the team messages. Okay, and combine that with what is being said by Sky Sports. So they take you down that road with your thought process. And then they remove them cars. And that takes you down that road of going, oh, at least they're giving Max the chance now. At least they're not blocking Max off now. They're taking you down that road with your... It's by design. It's by design. Okay? It's not authentic. Take a step back. Look at what happened. Look at what the rules of the sport are. Look at what the rules are there for. The purpose of those rules, which they do not tell you. You watch football, you know the rules. They tell you the rules. They explain things to you. Why with Formula One do they not explain the safety car rules and the purpose of them? There's a reason. Because it enables them to keep you guessing, keep hyping things up, enables them to actually fraudulently use the safety car because you don't know what its correct usage is. It enables them to get away with lying to you. That's what they've done. They've lied to you. It hurts to know they've lied to you. They've lied to you. They've lied to your children. This is global media conditioning. Global media conditioning. Come on, people, wake up to this shit. Make people aware of this shit. Okay? This is forensic deep diving. This is exposing the truth of the matter. And who's doing it? Who is doing it? Pick out an example. Make a video like this. If you're a YouTuber, right? Pick out an example, explain this in a better way than I am. Okay? Show people what it is they're seeing. What they were shown in Abu Dhabi. Show them the path they were taken down. Show them they did this. They made you think this. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. The truth is simple. Look at what actually happened. Because all of these ifs, buts, maybes, yeah, but they're all irrelevant. All irrelevant. And they're there to divert your attention away from the truth. They're designed to keep you conflicting, to keep you arguing over things which are irrelevant and not the crux of the issue. Focus on the crux of the issue and expose the fraud. Keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing, keep telling people the true nature of the fraud. And if you're a YouTuber, create the content that's going to expose it. That's the only way we keep the pressure on this to expose the fraud that's taking place. And when you see it, you will start seeing that this is the blueprint for corruption that is taking place in so many other facets of life. Okay? So many other facets of life. And many of you already know that. And that's what you're already seeing in this channel. And that's why you've subscribed. I know that you know. Okay? But for those of you who are only seeing it now, okay? This is why this campaign is so important. We need to expose these frauds because then it exposes to so many other people the true mechanisms of how our lives are being manipulated by media conditioning, telling us that things are happening a certain way for certain reasons when none of it is true. The truth is, there's companies out there that are making billions of pounds and we're being told, oh, well, it's because of this reason, it's because of that reason, oh, it's because of this. And it's not that at all. But these people at the top are making billions, and we at the bottom are told misinformation, disinformation, forced to argue amongst ourselves, forced to conflict over irrelevant issues, conditioned to believe one thing, conditioned to believe another, keep arguing amongst ourselves whilst nobody points the finger at them. They get away with it. They carry on. Nobody's holding to account. There is no consequence for them. But the truth is, there are laws. There are rules. There are laws that can hold these people to account. They exist. But them people, such as the UK Serious Fraud Office, aren't doing anything about it. The FBI aren't doing anything about it. Why not? Why not? We need to start asking these questions. Where is the big money? What do they truly have control over? Governments and government agencies. Who has control? Start opening your eyes. Start opening your eyes.